Welcome back. Now let's talk some sports development in Nigeria. It's a way of life, and you know, sometimes, well, in Nigeria, most times, some Nigerian shoots into limelight, and we'll find ourselves talking about sports development in Nigeria. So how can we improve sports in Nigeria? We talk. The last time Mr. Ngerem was here, we talked about sports development. We were specific about athletics at that time. Here we are again because of the feat of the boxer Anthony Joshua. We're back again talking about sports development, and it's my pleasure to welcome the former president of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, Mr. Dan Ngerem.
Good morning.
As well as the CEO, Multisports and Entertainment Limited. We don't see him on TV anymore. He used to be a great analyst in those days, Godwin Dudu Orume. Looking very affluent, I might add. Good morning, Dudu.
Yes, Alero. Well, you know, when you swim against the tide, often you get to a point where you have to do some calculations, and I reduced my expectations, my environment, choose to rest, and then take on a bit of developmental sports. I run a football academy with 500 children.
Okay.
2 centers in Lagos, 1 in Benin.
Okay.
That's my home state. Try and help in re-engineering sports. Truth about it is that Nigerian sports is not short of literature on which way to go.
No, okay. before we get our teeth into it, we'll just take a short break, come back and really deal with the subject. Welcome back. Now let's look at sports development in Nigeria. I mean, before we came on air, both our guests were, you know, rather exasperated by what is going on in this country, and yet one Nigerian does well, and one Nigeria wins a football match, and we are jumping all over the place. So if we think that sports is so important in our national life, why are we not doing the things we need to do to get us to the top? Dan?
It's a tough one, but again, the solution is actually very, very simple. But Nigerians have refused to do the right thing. Why? Because every 4 years we vote millions of dollars to prosecute competitions, be it Commonwealth Games, be it Olympic Games. We go there, we come back, and we do nothing. Some of us have been hitting our head on the wall to say, please have a simple policy framework to follow sports, particularly on your youth program. There are many Anthony Joshuas in Surulere. I don't even want to talk of Lagos State or your state and the whole Nigeria. But once you don't have that conveyor belt of success, school sports, you build it up, you isolate those with talent, support them, and move forward. We'll still be on this negative vortex of every 4 years, we vote millions, spend it, come back. And then we've been practically having one minister of sports every year since the democratic dispensation. So that's a recipe for disaster, really. And we are not short of literature as to what to do. I served in one in 2007, so-called Presidential Advisory Committee. Dudu has chaired so many. I made a presentation in one of his seminars about 12, 13 years ago. So we're not short of literature. Is there gathering dust? But nobody has gotten the political will to do the right thing. And regrettably, sports happen to be very big business that can support itself. They can be used as an instrument of foreign policy. They can be used for your PR. What one Anthony Joshua has done for Nigeria is more than what our Ministry of Information has done perhaps in the last 2 years. So this is the power of sports. Why we are refusing to harness it is what one can fathom out. And again, if you see my interview 10 years ago, it's still the same thing we're going to be repeating. Same, I'm sure, we do Orume here. So it's quite disheartening.
Yeah, Dudu, is it that nobody is listening to what the professionals are saying? Okay, we came back from the Olympics and other countries. I know for a fact that China has a program where little kids of about 8, 9, 10 are being groomed already for Olympics of 2024 or something. Why is it difficult for us to have such programs and search for them now for the Olympics of 8 years' time?
Well, we're not a planning country, especially with sports. And we've had deafening silence from administrators in the last 15, 20 years. And a Joshua comes up here and there where now and again when we have options, loads of options, where we could have had so many Olympians in boxing, in wrestling, in weightlifting. Now, I'm a football fan, but I know that Nigeria will get more from, the power sports.
Yes.
And all of these things you need to plan by training kids, by training the trainers, retrain the trainers. But football is easy. You just drop one ball and 30 kids are kicking it up and down, and then we get ready for competition. Just pick those 30 kids without actually imputing anything. Where is the Principal's Cup, which was a natural conveyor belt? In 1965, Sangara Okoye, Tony Igwe, Peter Anieke, they beat Ghana home and away academicals. All of them graduated into the Eagles in 67. All of them played for Nigeria in the 1968 Olympics and came out creditably. In 1971, Dr. Bruce Jericho, who today is a PhD holder in petroleum geology, captained the Midwest, old Bendel, Naido, Delta State, to win the Horsey Shield in Port Harcourt in style. All of them represented Nigeria at the next 2, 3 Olympics. Now, what happened at the time was that the games master of old used boarding house discipline to get you to do sports. He wasn't an expert in any of the sports, but because the system, the boarding house system and the school system allowed for development using discipline, not people who wear sagging shorts all over the place now. The sports help to tune the mentality. I mean, in my, teenage age, which was a bit turbulent, sports kept me out of trouble. So it will keep a lot of kids out of trouble. We will then have these competitions, let's begin to teach children how or create opportunities on development, first of all, not for laurels, the wider base, for discipline, for the building of personalities. The truth about it is that I grew up, I went to school with about 3 governors, but I was probably the most popular person in my class for so many years. A class that included Fashala, Akpabio, Imoke, but because I was doing TV sports, which is an area of sports. But the more interesting one is actually that we can build community relationships using sports. We can build respect for one another. Children learn from adults who are not just their parents and learn to respect. And those were the guiding principles, the beacons for the first National Sports Festival, which was on different age categories. The whole country came to one place to compete for about 2 or 3 weeks, and we let all that slip, preferring to go to competitions, as Dan said, vote dollars. I mean, you have 80 athletes, 300 officials. They go and come back, zilch for medals,
2 weeks.
No review of what has been done,
no accounts,
and just everybody thinks, oh well, it's next 4 years, let's get ready, position ourselves.
We'll go again.
Yeah, so we've got to look at it again and ask ourselves a few things, which way forward, and it's possible by doing just simple things.
And if I may add to what he's saying, I keep saying our problem is not money. But just because we have this cycle of waiting every 4 years for government to vote billions, and a few people who are adept at manipulating the system go there and misuse it. You don't think about the welfare of the athletes, you don't think about school sports. So no benchmarks, no parameters of success for anybody. And like we said, I haven't seen any accounts for any major event in the last 15 to 20 years. Nobody operates like that. It's bordering on irresponsibility when you give people so much money and nobody accounts for it. So you have this cycle of everybody hanging by the side and waiting for this money to come in. Then everybody starts working and hustling. Once that 2 week of competition finishes, then that's it. And then to support what I'm saying, Nigerians have forgotten that in 1963, there was a world championship in boxing in Ibadan. The gates opened 6:30. The match was from 8:30. And it was Dick Tiger versus an American,